Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of relationships. You guys, it all starts from within, and if you don't feel right from within, you are going to attract chaos in your love life. I can assure you of that, okay? So if you feel like you can benefit, if you have questions on dating coaching, please hit the stand link in my bio. All of the packages that I have to offer, either one session, an 8-week transformation program where we really dive in deep to your traumas, reprogram your mind. Hit the stand link in the episode description or in my bio of this podcast, okay? Anyway, today I wanted to chat about something that a lot of people lack, and I feel like this is the most important quality that someone can possess, especially as a woman, but like also as a man. I think that this is just an important quality in general for someone to have in a relationship, in life, period, because I can guarantee if you lack this, everything is going to trigger you. You don't have control of your life if you don't have emotional intelligence. And I think a lot of people, if I'm being honest, lack this quality. But we're going to get into it. What is emotional intelligence? How can it help you? How to gain emotional intelligence? I honestly think that this is the most powerful quality that a woman can possess, because the more in control you are over your emotions and feelings, the better quality of relationships you're going to have, not even just romantically, but platonically as well. And then the more peace that you're going to feel inside, because you don't let other people control you or trigger you. So having emotional intelligence is so important, because without it, you're letting your emotions take over. You are reactive. You are walking on eggshells throughout life, if I'm being honest with you guys, okay? And that is the last thing that you want to do, because honestly, it's just not it's not a good feeling to be on edge at all times, be ready to react, be ready to respond, be ready to blow up on someone at any time, okay? I recently was told by someone, they're like, oh my God, how does this not piss you off? Like, how this rattles the heck out of me. How does this not make you so angry? And I'm like, I honestly just don't let small things get to me, because it's not going to matter tomorrow. It's not going to matter next week. If it's not going to matter in a short amount of time, then I am not going to let it affect me. That's just how I want to live my life. I would rather feel peace and let things just be the way that they are. If I don't have control over it, you guys, then who cares? Then allow everyone to act the way they need to act, but I'm in control of my feelings, my emotions, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't bother me, because it could still bother me, right? And I don't think that emotional intelligence is hiding your feelings or ignoring your feelings. I think that's the furthest thing from what emotional intelligence is. Let's first start off by asking ourselves, what is emotional intelligence? Recognizing and being able to manage your own emotions, but then being able to influence the emotions of those around you. It is so normal to have negative emotions, to be triggered by something, to be annoyed or mad or upset about something. It's normal, right? But it's how you respond to those feelings that are coming up that is going to make the world of difference in any relationship, whether that be, again, either friends, romantic, whatever. It's going to make the world of difference, because you're not allowing other people to rattle you. The thing is, if that other person can trigger you and can have you respond to that trigger, they can control you. And one thing about me is that I can't be controlled. And I don't know about you, but I would never allow someone to have that satisfaction that they have the power over me. The second that you're reactive and emotional about something, that person holds all of the power. So how do you get from that girl who, or that guy, whatever, that's sending these crazy massive text messages telling them everything that they did wrong, saying, oh my God, I can't believe you did this, I can't believe you made me feel like this, blah 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 blah, sending this massive text message to the person that's just unbothered. How do you go from that to that? Because trust me when I say, I used to be the girl who would send these massive text messages and react and blow up on people and just go off. And then I realized, like, what is this? Where is this getting me? And what is this really doing for me? Because I feel awful after I'm sending these messages and their response is something so simple like, okay, how insane do you look when you send this massive paragraph and then they don't even care to respond, or they respond with like, okay, cool. Like, they don't give a fuck. It is so triggering and you want to blow up even more. And then you think back on these times and it's like, how did I let this person get the best of me? How did I get myself so far out of character that I was acting like this psychotic woman? Trust me, I've been there. There's no judgment, okay? Let me just say that. How did I get from that to like, let me not blow up here? Sometimes it does take a lot of work. I think it took me, when I was really starting to practice this and put this into action, because I will say, the more that you do this, the easier it's going to get. It's just a practice of life, right? But how did I get from being that crazy, insane, built up emotions and blowing up to getting in control of my emotions and really allowing myself to just be and like be okay with how everyone else is moving? Because at the end of the day, you have to be okay. Like, I can't control what anyone else is going to do to me or what anyone else is going to do in general. All I can control is how I'm going to respond to the situation. I realized how terrible it was making me feel that I would send these massive texts, then to not get a response, or to get a response that was so short and like they clearly did not give a fuck. It was an awful feeling, and I'm like, I never want to do this again. And I think the key here, which this is the key, by the way, the less you care, the more power that you hold. Not that you don't have to care, right? Because I do think that there is a time and place for you to stick up for yourself, set healthy boundaries with someone. Like, you know what? That wasn't cool. Whatever. I'm walking away. But that is a lot different than blowing up and sending crazy paragraphs, screaming at someone, getting loud with someone. Completely different than setting a boundary and letting that person know that you're not putting up with their shit anymore. Okay? There's significant difference, because I saw a lot of comments like, no, I'm going to say it how it is, basically. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Like, you are allowed, and also there's a time and place for it. If this person already showed you that they don't care, and they have already showed you they're not making you a priority already, they're already giving you short answers, they're rarely reaching out, they've already checked out of the situation, what in you is going to make a difference by yelling at them, screaming at them, going off on them, blowing up? You're not going to get anywhere with that. You're going to look like the psychotic girl, guy, whatever, that did not have to even say anything. Your silence is going to speak volumes. It is going to speak so much louder than that massive paragraph that you want to send. I can promise you that. Because when you are silent and when you respect yourself enough to say, you know what, I don't have to explain myself. You clearly don't give a fuck, so why would I even waste an ounce of my energy? If they're already showing you that they don't care, then walk away and let your silence speak louder, okay? But if it is a situation where they like did you dirty and, you know, it was like a fuck up, but they still care and they still want to put in effort, or they're still trying in any sense, there is a way for you to say, you know what, I'm actually not cool with this. I don't like how this went down. Whatever the case is, because every situation is going to be different. I see how you moved, and like, honestly, it's not for me, but I wish you the best. Those are my favorite messages to send, by the way, because it's like, I respect myself so much that I want you to know that I see you and I see how you move, but also I respect myself way more than this behavior, and I'm not putting up with it. They will come crawling back to you. I promise you that. Know when to speak up and when not to speak up, because I genuinely think people just like want to have the last word and want to like blow up. It's not getting you anywhere. it's really not getting you anywhere. The more that you look like this crazy girl, it's not doing you any favors. You probably will feel terrible after doing it. Yes, you blew off some steam, but at the end of the day, would you rather be like the cool, confident girl that walked away and didn't say anything and let her silence speak volumes? Or would you want to be the crazy girl that he now goes and shows everyone your text message of like, look at how crazy this girl is, and now everyone wants to stay away from you because they think that you're the crazy girl? Tell me which one sounds better. Because I personally would never want someone to hold that over my head, okay? But I'm going to be the cool, collected girl, and you're not going to be able to trigger me. So play your cards right, you guys. How did I get there? Let's talk about that. You have to recognize that there is an emotion going on inside of you. When you're triggered, when something happens, you have to acknowledge that you are feeling a feeling. All it is energy that is flowing through you. Let it flow through you. Feel the feels, feel your emotions, but don't react on your emotions. When you're not in control, you are reactive over your emotions. The more that you say, well, he did this and she did this and they did that, whatever, the more that you're saying that, you are not in control because you're not taking accountability for your actions here. Maybe all that you did was participate in their behavior, but you're still a part of this somehow, right? So, even you can't control, again, anyone else on the outside. And if someone did you dirty, all you had to do is like, I really hated how that made me feel. I really don't like that. If it's bad enough for you to walk away, walk away. You walking away instead of blowing up is going to say so much more, I promise. Stop giving it more meaning than it actually has. The more you are giving them your power, the less powerful you will feel. So if someone is making you feel some type of way, accept that person's behavior is not about you, but it is about them. And then let the feelings flow through you. You don't want those feelings to get stuck inside of you. I think one of the worst things you can do, even maybe worse than blowing up on someone, is to let those feelings fester inside of you and not say anything sometimes, because those feelings don't necessarily go away. If you are pushing them deeper inside of you, this is how people get sick. I'm convinced of that. When you don't feel through your feelings is when your body starts to not react right. Feel your feelings, let them process through you, but don't necessarily react. Sometimes you have to be like, you know what? This is my responsibility here. And the way that person treated me, I don't like. Did you see it coming? Were there some things that you can change moving forward? Maybe you don't want to deal with this kind of person moving forward. Take a little bit of accountability, because when you do, you're going to feel so much better afterwards, and your ego might take a little bit of a hit. Trust me on that. But the more that you're like, you know what, that person did me dirty and I had no responsibility here, that they acted how they wanted to act, but it is now my responsibility. I'm feeling the fact that I'm hurt, and how I'm going to respond to this is my responsibility. How do you want to respond? Managing your emotions effectively doesn't mean that you don't have to have those emotions. Like, you can feel the way you need to feel, but take some time to process those feelings. Be on your own before you react. If you want to send this crazy ass message, maybe write yourself a note on your notes app, in an email, text yourself, do whatever you have to do, journal, and write everything down. And then if you look at it in the morning, if you look at it in maybe like 2 days, and you're like, I have to say this, I have to speak my feelings, I have to speak my truth, then by all means, do what you think is going to be right. Give it a little time for your emotions to subside, to where you're reading this message the next day or in a couple of days, and you're reading it and you're like, actually, I'm so glad I didn't press send. I'm so glad that I didn't react, because when it's in the heat of the moment, in the thick of it, you're much more likely to send things that you don't actually mean, to say things you don't actually mean to say, to respond in ways that are not helpful or effective in communication. So keep that in mind. If you want to go off, Release the steam, but don't release the steam on them. Release the steam to yourself. Make it a little message. Go have like a little ritual of like, this just came to my head, but there's places you can go to like literally break things. Release the energy somewhere else where it's going to be useful and productive. Don't release your energy on someone else, because the second you do is the second that you lose power, your own power. Okay, so if you want to walk away from the situation, a more powerful person who respects themselves and the way that you move, then take some time to yourself and really think things through before you react. Another really helpful thing is to not take anything personally. A lot of times, people don't mean to offend you. And the more that you take it as a personal attack, the more crazy that you're gonna seem. I know there's so many times where I do things that I don't really even mean to do, that aren't purposeful, that aren't targeted, that aren't calculated, that someone would be like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you would do that. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't even really think about that. Like, but thanks for bringing it to my attention, and thanks for maybe not going off on me. But it's really about how you approach the situation. If someone like didn't text you for a couple of days and you're triggered by that, and you decide to send this like massive text, like, I can't believe you would do this to me, I can't believe you would ghost me, whatever, you've just made yourself out to be this crazy person, first of all. And then second, that person could just be going through some things. They could be super crazy busy with work. They could be with family, dealing with internal problems. They could just not have the emotional capacity to text someone. Like, you don't know what that other person is dealing with. Maybe they're like in the hospital dealing with like a family problem or whatever. The last thing you want to do is go off on someone. There was a situation where I'm so glad I responded the way that I did. I had plans with this guy that I really liked. Leading up to it, did not hear from him. The day of, did not hear from him. And I'm like, that's so weird. Like, he doesn't seem like the kind of person to just ghost me, blow me off like that. I'm concerned. So I did call him that day and he didn't answer. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird, but it is what it is. I'm not going to take this personally, because how he's choosing to respond to this is not effective at all. And he's going to do what he's going to do at the end of the day. It's his choice to either see me or don't see me. Whatever he wants to do, it's up to him, right? But the way that I responded to this situation, didn't message him. I was like, okay, his loss, whatever. I'm on to the next. I'm moving on. I get a message days later, and he was like, I'm so sorry. My grandpa died. It was a really tough day. I apologize for the lack of communication, but I was processing a lot, and like, I probably should have handled that better, but I really am so sorry. And like, thank you for being so understanding about this. If I had blown up on him while he was dealing with his situation, it would not have had the same outcome. He would have been like, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. You didn't even try to understand my situation. But you genuinely don't know what people are going through. So don't take anything personally. Assume that they have other things going on. And not everything revolves around you. Not everything is a personal attack. Stop trying to make excuses in your head like, oh, well, they have to be ignoring me because they were on Instagram. Sometimes I ignore my text messages and I'm scrolling on social media, and it's not a personal attack at all. It's like, I don't have the energy to respond to this right now. I genuinely, mentally, I need to even like think some things through. I want to give you my time and full attention. And right now, my energy, my mind, I can't fully commit to giving you that response that I want to give you. So don't necessarily always take things personally. People are more in their heads about themselves than they are about what's going on with you in most cases. So I think rule number 1 is to not take anything personally. And the more that you're a little bit more understanding of people's situations, I think the more that you're going to get out of it. And I think sometimes I'm a little too understanding, for sure. I will say that. But at the end of the day, if it's a continuous thing and they choose to like disrespect me on an ongoing basis, then obviously I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to be disrespected over a long period of time. But if it's a 1, 2, whatever times that happen, and it really was a mistake and he really didn't mean to do little small things, I'm not going to take it personally. We all have lives. We're all fucking busy. Take some time to reflect on and like pour more energy into you. If you want to say that them not texting you back in a couple of hours, it's a personal attack on you, I think we need to do a little bit more internal work and figuring out what's going on with us internally than to take that personally, because we all have things going on. Okay. Give them a little bit of grace. It will go a long way. But that is it for this week's episode. And if you could, please leave that 5-star rating on your bell notification so you'll never miss another episode. Hit the subscribe button. And I will see you all next Tuesday. I love you all.